Let's see if we
Greetings, champion parents. Welcome back to Mommy Talk. As always, we are here to share information and resources to inspire positive parental engagement. We are real, relatable, and right on time with Dr. Perk, Miss Lisa, and myself, Miss April. Come talk to us by email, and or you can use our any of our social media platforms and let us know what you think. We're excited to have champion parent and champion wife, Miss Kenyetta Campbell, here with us today to discuss balancing life. Welcome, Kenyetta.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. I'm really honored to have you here. You have been, people. First of all, viewers, thank you for tuning in. But if you do not know the name Kenyetta Campbell, get familiar because this lady does so many things for the community, especially the Cody High School community. And I know she's going to get into it. But of course, Cody is near and dear to my heart because that is just one of the greatest schools in Detroit. Amen.
We can tell you're representing it well.
Right, I got on my green scarf. But so Kia, it's a pleasure to have you here. So welcome again.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me here.
Yeah. So can you enlighten us? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Well, I'm a mother of two. I have two beautiful daughters. I have a 15-year-old who will be 16 next month. Pray for me, y'all. And then I also have a 9-year-old. And I am a CEO of a nonprofit organization, as you mentioned, the Cody Rich Community Action Alliance, and I've been there for about 14 years now. I'm also a CEO of a health and wellness company, Smoothie Prep on the Go, and we have a movement attached to it, which is called Fit to Win Detroit.
Okay. So speaking, I just want to rewind a little bit and I know, and please, okay, let me just go ahead because I'm so excited because you do so many things. Again, you wear so many hats. So speaking of Cody, okay. So I remember a couple of years ago, there was this program that you actually brought to Detroit. This program actually serviced a few Detroit public schools, which is, help me out, the roof people.
Oh, Life Remodel, the Life Remodel project.
Life Remodel. Oh my God, that is crazy. Yeah, so you actually brought Life Remodel to Detroit. So again, I want to thank you for that because me being a teacher at Osborne, I remember they serviced Osborne as well. Can you enlighten us a little bit about that?
Yes. Actually, Life Remodel was working actually in the North End previous to coming to the Cody Rouge neighborhood. And it was really like a perfect timing for our neighborhood. We had got to the point in which we had pretty much exhausted all resources that we had to really move the neighborhood forward. So I met a gentleman by the name of Chris Lambert, who has been doing a phenomenal job with really assisting neighborhoods in the city of Detroit. He began to partner with our organization as well as Cody High School. And with that particular project, we were able to get a brand new football field. They renovated things inside of the high school, several different classrooms. They put a medical lab in the school. They also put a technology lab and then also a leadership lab within the high school. This particular event brought out thousands of volunteers from corporations and then also some of the local and suburban churches also pitched in to really help us with this particular project. So it was really, it was back in 2016, not 2014, I'm sorry, time is passing. But it really was a time where there was a lot of things that we wanted to see happen. They actually kind of helped set the foundation for us to really continue to have an ongoing relationships with many corporate partners as well as foundations.
Wow, awesome. That's beautiful, and I like how you said that you all had exhausted funds, so you had to be innovative, you had to be creative. You didn't sit back and say, "Hey, why isn't this happening?" You actually got up and made some things happen. So definitely kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
And then I'm gonna go to that fit. Your fit to fit.
Fit to win.
Y'all help me out. Y'all, listen. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
So Fit to Win Detroit, it actually started in 2019 Previous to 2019, I started a smoothie prep business in which I was just trying to help some of my closest friends and family members just to lose weight and just eat healthy. And it really turned into a movement in which we began to create different weight loss challenges. Also, I began to provide wellness evaluations to really sit down with each individual to find out where they are and then kind of help them develop a goal so they can be successful. So right now I have over 130 people who is a part of the movement. And like I said, it's just taken off. Most recently, we've been able to partner with two organizations, Fitness Hip Hop, which is in Southfield. We'll be moving into her location this weekend. And then we also have a partnership with a trainer, DJ Jules. I'm sure you all probably partied to his music in the past, but he actually provide boot camps. So pretty much what I try to do is look at different organizations that can kind of complement the business so that way everybody can kind of stay in their own lane. And when I say it really feels good to see so many people losing weight, eating healthy, and making changes. That's what really makes me happy.
Okay. And so I have a saying, saying is be the giver of what you need. And I say that because I know a lot of times when we need things, we sometimes we look, for the things we need. We look for people to provide those things. But sometimes we have to be the giver of what we need. If we start giving and researching, then, things will start to be revealed. But not only will we be helping ourselves, we'll be helping others. And so that's what I'm hearing from you, that you are constantly being the giver of what you need. You needed some improvements in your community and you went out and did it. You needed some improvements in physical fitness and you went out and did it and you're doing it. So what does a typical day for you as a champion parent look like? Because you are a champion parent.
Yes, thank you. It's a daily struggle, as you all know. You all have children as well, so you have to be really, really creative in making sure that you're balancing work, school with the kids, church, the community, pretty much everything. So pretty much a typical day, I get up early in the morning. First thing I'm doing is making sure that I'm praying. I really believe, starting my day off with prayer because when you don't do that, we all know that things just don't go right. So I started doing that. I make sure that I'm, fixing breakfast before I leave out because I work out first thing in the morning. So I make sure that, the kids are fed before I leave. And then I'm out working out. After working out, I'll come back, because of COVID, I'm actually working from home right now. And I pretty much from like 10 to like 4, I'm kind of focusing on the community development work, making sure that I'm connecting our residents to resources, although we can't physically be there with them, really, figuring out ways to be creative. For instance, we've been recently able to create or purchase baskets with laundry materials, cleaning supplies, and we actually were able to deliver that to the residents. And then a lot of the residents who weren't able to get out and go grocery shopping, we also hire someone to actually go shopping, and we actually pay for the groceries and deliver it to the residents. So after doing all those wonderful things to the community, of course, I have to come back home and be mommy, right?
Right.
So
wait, I just want to say, yum. I heard somebody say they cooking breakfast. Can I come? Breakfast, okay?
yeah. So that's the youngest one. Look, if you don't cook her a hot breakfast, it's not gonna be a great day. So I have to make sure that I get her some, not a teenager, she'll grab something to go, but the baby, she wants to make sure that she has breakfast. And every morning I'm making either a protein shake or a smoothie, as you
Let me tell you about her smoothies. They are the bomb.
Yum.
Love her smoothies. Yes, yes. She provides fresh fruit, already prepackaged. It's so easy. You just gotta just throw it in the blender. Because sometimes I know with me, you get so overwhelmed throughout your day, you don't have time to prepare. So with her smoothies, hers is already packed individually, and you just put it in the blender and add water.
Yeah. You add like protein or something. I haven't purchased any in a while, but you add protein or something, and they were very good.
Oh yeah,
the
vanilla.
I think Kenyetta told me that it was enough to make like 10 smoothies. I think I made like 12 or 13. So she gives you a little bit more, than she says. So that's a blessing, and they are good.
Thank you. Yeah, so part of you mentioned the protein. I'm also a distributor for Herbalife, so I sell supplements as well. for people that, that need to get, different things as well to kind of help with their journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very,
So
very good
again,
products.
a champion parent. So just to clarify again, viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm looking at the chat. If you have questions for Miss Kenyetta, come on, shoot, because this is again a lady of the community. She is a physical fitness guru. I don't know if she wants me to say that, but she is. She has made some awesome changes, and she is touching lives. I think I watched a live that you did a couple of days ago, and you were saying that people had asked you, like, girl, where have you been? And sometimes we think that we're not effective sometimes, but that was your reminder, like, excuse me, ma'am, you were giving me my daily word. I need my word back. So again, she's a motivational speaker. Just so definitely champion parent is a parent who we know we're not perfect, but we strive every day to do better. And we're always, reinventing the wheel. You definitely do that. So how does, so let's talk about, so speaking of being a champion parent, trials and tribulations and triumphs. So tell us about what is it, trial to triumphant moment.
Yeah. So I guess I can there's a few. I think for me, as you all know, I was married, it's been 5 years now, but I'm divorced now. And then just going through that divorce, it just made me realize a lot of things that I needed to look at as far as on how I was doing things for myself. A lot of times we get in these relationships and it's all about pleasing your mate and making sure that, that you're doing everything possible to make sure that person is happy. And then when that happens, we tend to lose ourselves. We begin to gain weight. We, we begin to neglect ourselves, and I think for me, that was the moment when I got the divorce was the moment that made me realize, okay, it's time to focus on Kenyetta now,
And you came back with a bang.
Thank you. I made sure I didn't want to jump back into like another relationship, because I have two daughters. So we have to make sure that we're mindful of the different men we bring around our children. So for me, it's just, let me just focus on me. And when I say y'all, I went into a zone and I'm like, I just thank God because without him, I don't know where I would be right now, So thankful that, my kids were able to kind of bounce back just like me, I've been able to kind of teach them on how when you're going through certain challenges. Well, the youngest one, she really don't remember, but the oldest one, she was able to witness everything I went through. So I'm proud of her because now, she's into boys and dating and, so she knows what she's not going to accept, but had I not made the choice that I made to leave that unhealthy relationship, I don't think it would, it would show her on what she needs to do when she's in that same situation. So I think the divorce, although it was painful, but I think it made me a better woman. It made me pay closer attention to my children. Of course, I always pay attention to them, but making sure that I'm going over beyond, like I do for the community, that I'm doing that for my own children. So I think I learned a lot, and I feel like I've been able to grow and hopefully, other women will be touched by my story because, I really want to kind of go deep, maybe not today, but want to go deep into, some of the things I've dealt with that. And then I think also, as far as co-parenting with, would be nice. We go through situations like, for instance, my oldest daughter, her father and I are not, we don't have a good a working parenting relationship. And it has definitely impacted her. But I believe that because of the different things I've been trying to teach her, she's been able to kind of overcome, the relationship that she has with him. And it's not, it's not a good situation, but, every day we're learning and we're just making strides. And she'll be 18 in 2 years. So just thank God that, she's still in her right mind, she don't want for anything. We've been able to kind of just keep it moving, basically.
So I do have a question with that. And if you don't want to go deep, you don't have to, but just listen. Okay, just listening to, you talk and how you say you've been through some things, and I think that everybody out there has been through a lot of things. And so my question is, because I know some listeners probably want to know, how do you find that balance in your life when you're hurting, to deal with your children, to continue on with the job, to continue on with your goals in life?
Yeah. I think for me, and it's just, I think I think I'm different in ways because it's when I'm going through the hardest trials is when I'm on top of my game the most. And I think for me, it's kind of like always setting goals. I don't care what it's, even if it's as far as trying to set up a business or trying to make sure that my kids, that they are creating, that they're creating a career pathway. It's just, I'm a goal setter and I'm a go getter. So I think for me, just putting those two together, it helps me keep moving. And then I'm honest, I don't try to go around. A lot of times people try to cover up that they don't go through anything. Yeah, I may not post every situation I've gone through, but I hurt like the next woman. But I try to show other women that even when you're going through pain, you got to just kind of find that energy. Keep positive vibes. Try not to focus on the negative. Just kind of turn those negative to the positive. And I think that's what I've been able to do. And of course, like I mentioned, the strength of God. Just being, I'm a PK. My mom's a minister, so just growing up and being spiritual and understanding, when you make bad choices, you got to suffer the consequences, but you just can't just, lay in it and just stay there. You got to just kind of keep it moving. So I think for me, for any young girl or any woman that's out there that's going through either abusive relationship or they just feel like that the father of their child is not, doing what he's supposed to do, you still got to do you. You got to do what you got to do until, the change comes.
I think that's great advice, because at the end of the day, you can't control anybody. People are going to do what they want to do, and the only person that you can control is yourself, believe it or not. And if I hear you, you're basically saying for people to think long term and don't don't make bad choices.
Right.
I think that's very important, because I know, when we all get hurt, sometimes we just do some dumb things, and you look back and you think like, oh Lord, why did I do that? Like, but I think that's important, when you hurt, not to just move so fast,
Right.
but keep moving, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think like for me, it's just a matter, I think, when you do make a bad choice, okay, accept the fact that it was a bad choice and just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And then even, talk to younger girls, because a lot of times, like when I was growing up, I was never like the type of girl that I had to have, all of the materialistic things. I've never been that type of woman. So I think for me, I wasn't always chasing, the ballers. I mean, I probably had them, but I didn't chase them. They kind of just happened to be people that, I dated. But, at the end of the day, you got to have yourself together. You got to make sure that your game is tight. Otherwise, when that joker leaves, you got to rebuild. And if you're not conscious of that, then you starting over constantly, so.
And I agree with you. I think that it's very important to take an honest look at yourself. And one of the things you basically said is, when you take that honest look at yourself, you have to forgive yourself for some of the things that you've done. I think that is just so important. A lot of times we try to focus on forgiving others, and we're dealing with things internally, but we have to look in the mirror and think about all those things that we've done, not only to hurt others, but to hurt ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I think it's very important that we stop and, say, you know what, hey, I forgive you. And I'm talking about actually looking in the mirror at yourself and saying, I forgive you for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the other part is that we tend to always, sometimes when we're in it, we're looking at what the other person is doing. And sometimes, I mean, we're contributing to it as well, but we don't want to blame ourselves. But after things are over with, you kind of got to look back and see, okay, what could I have done different? Was it anything that I was doing? And sometimes you may not have done anything, but oftentimes there's something, that contributes to it. So I guess communicating and making sure that, you kind of keeping that open dialogue kind of helps.
Yeah, that's important.
And you brought up so many I mean real points. And it's something that people need to understand, like when they're in relationships and when they're co-parenting, to basically take themselves out of whatever the issues are and to focus on the children. And it's a very difficult, I've been in, a situation where I had to,
Mhm.
focus on the children. And I was in a situation, I was hurt, I was devastated, but I always remember my mom telling me, never let them see you sweat. Never let,
Right,
like that
right,
just rings in my head. And I don't care how hurt, I just like bitter is not my thing. I can't do bitter.
right,
And then you end up damaging yourself more because the message that you want, like you hurt, you mad, and you want to get a message to them, but they're not gonna get the message. So then you're gonna be more mad
right.
because it's not effective the way that you want it to be. So killing with kindness, never let them see you sweat. And
Right.
it is a difficult situation. So I definitely commend you for everything, and thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm going to give a shout out to our parents out there, to our viewers. If you have some questions, Miss Dorothy, Mr. Carlos, Mr. Chris, do you hear me call your name? Miss Howard, Miss Sybil, Miss Cassandra, Miss Ebony Powell, shout out to Cody High School. If you have some questions for Miss Kenyetta Campbell, please, by all means, ask the question or give a shout out. Yeah, so, and again, thank you for sharing all those points with us. Again, I commend you. So, on your children, and you obviously are doing an awesome job raising
Thank
your
you.
children. How do they fit into you have a busy life, you have a busy you're busy, so how do you make it work?
Yeah. So pretty much like they, both of them, especially the youngest one, she is very passionate about healthy things. Also, she wants to be a chef. So it's easier to kind of pull her into it. So she's the COO of the company. So she's like she's the boss. We call her the boss, the baby boss. And then my daughter, she's really into technology. So she's able to kind of help me when it's time for me to do videos or post certain things. She's kind of helped with that. Um, so I pretty much make sure that I'm not forcing it on them, as far as that particular business. Now, as far as like the community work, it's very important that they start at a young age understanding the importance of giving back. So from the time they can start walking, they're out there doing community cleanups. They're knocking on doors and getting residents to come out and be a part of the neighborhood, and they really enjoy that. And I think right now, I think both of them probably have enough hours. You need the 200 hours for graduation. They both probably exceeded that already, and they enjoy it because I want them to understand that in order to you can't just you know do things in this world without giving back. So they both understand that, and I think that's kind of how they're able to fit into it. Now, of course, the oldest one, once they get, they start getting a little bit older, they don't want to do it as much, so I don't force it. I just allow her to be involved and making sure that whatever it is that they want to do, not forcing them to go into community work, but making sure that I'm helping them build upon whatever career choice they want to go into.
So I
Okay,
have a
so
question.
okay, go ahead, Dr. Pert.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a question on that because a lot of times you hear well, not a lot of times. Sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, I'm going to push my kid in this certain direction." And sometimes you hear parents say, "You know what? I'm going to let them follow whatever aspirations they have in their heart." So how do you find that balance where you say, I want my kids to be successful. I want them to have goals. I want them to achieve their goals. But what is that fine line, that balance as a parent?
Yeah, so for my oldest daughter, she when she was younger, she was into everything. So and I allowed it because she's very busy. She's a Leo, so she's very busy, very demanding. Not the same thing about Leos. It's just a certain type of energy. You have to be a special parent to deal with a Leo. Okay, so she was dancing, she was acting, pretty much everything. She was doing all of that. And for me, what I've noticed, I felt that I wasn't a stage mom that was pushing her in a certain direction, but years later, I realized that I really was doing that. I really wanted her to really pursue the acting because I saw, the potential of her being able to go to Broadway and all that. And I didn't really although I was really close to doing everything, I didn't realize that dance was really the main thing she just wanted to do. So the moment I finally realized that, I think she was 12, and she's been working since 7 years old. So she was 12 years old, and then that's why I said, okay, you know what? Let me just back up, and I let go, and she just, she kind of faded away from the acting. Right now, she still do like some of the, commercial voiceover and things like that, but she's not into
Nice.
the movies and everything. But it was really a busy life, and I was one of those parents. We were traveling all over the world. We was in LA and Chicago, and she was, she was killing it, but it made her tired, and then now that it's time for her to work a real job, the money she was making then can't compare to what she's making now. So I'm trying to deal with that now. That's like a monster you don't want to create. So yeah.
And that's great. And you sound like a champion parent, because what you are.
Mhm.
And one of the things that a champion parent does is they support their child. And they also reflect on their parenting skills. And I heard you say, like, hey, I kind of reflected on how I was trying to push her in a direction, but I heard you say the key word, like, instead, I'm going to support her. And I think that's very powerful. I think that's a message that all parents support your children in what they want to do.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, your
Okay,
daughter's phenomenal. I know I've seen a couple of her dance routines, and I know she was teaching classes at one point, like dance classes. I was like, go. Yeah, so that was really inspirational, even for me as an adult, for her to have that tenacity as a young lady to go and, pursue her dreams. So that was awesome.
Yeah, so she has a little dance company, but once she got into high school, it was from 12, 13. Well, as soon as she got to high school, she kind of like stopped the business part of it, because she was actually in the dance program at the school, so it was just too time consuming. So, but she definitely wants to own her own dance studio one day. So.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And
Phenomenal.
I know that I remember the term that you used to use when speaking about your daughter. Is it the quadruple? I
Quad
cannot
threat.
talk. Quad threat.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
because she does a lot. She sings, she dances, she what else? She acts.
Yeah.
And I didn't know she was doing voiceovers.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So, definitely again, viewers, thank you for tuning in. Miss Dorothy wants me to tell you, Miss Kenyetta, thank you for your honesty. You are a good example of a young woman. So, whoop, whoop. Thank you, Miss Dorothy. Shout out to Clint and shout out to Angelia and Miss Anna. Thank you for tuning in. And again, you guys, if you have, we're going to wrap up soon. So if you have any questions for Miss Kenyetta, bring them in, good people. Okay, so your children apparently are your motivation, your driving force. So what's going on next? Like, what are you working on now, and what should we be looking forward to? Because again, people, I'm telling you, the name Kenyetta Campbell, and I'm not just saying that because she went to the most awesome school in Detroit with Tony. Okay, but what should we be looking forward to next?
Yeah,
And
so yes, of course, I'm going to always continue the community development work. That's my 9 to 5. But I really want to begin to continue to build the health and wellness component. Unfortunately, I experienced some health problems a few years back, and so I'm just trying to keep dealing with that. Things are okay right now, but I want to make sure that while I'm trying to help other people, I'm still making sure that I'm taking care of my personal health as well. So that's something that I really want to focus on. I still got 20 more pounds to go. So that's my goal, is to get there. And then I think I might even start competing. My brother taught me into doing that, so we'll see.
Oh, wow.
So
can we ask you mind sharing how much weight you've lost?
How much? Oh, 65 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And next month, thank you. Next month is my 2-year anniversary. I started 2 years ago on August the 19th. So that's kind of what I really want to focus on as far as like on the weekend, doing my extra time, doing that and kind of building, and I'm looking to do a smoothie truck. And then also.
Yes, I told you we need that smoothie truck outside in my job.
Yeah,
I have to buy one.
Yeah, through my neighborhood.
I roll through like the ice cream man.
Uh-huh.
Yes, for real. Bump the ice cream truck. We need that smoothie truck.
Yeah. So that's my plans right now. Of course, getting this soon to be 16-year-old out my house in 2 years. No, making sure that she's ready for
Girl,
college.
don't rush. Please don't rush. Look, I'm over here sweating already. Our babies are the same age. Do
Yeah,
not rush, child.
yeah, I'm not gonna rush. I'm not gonna rush. And then, really the youngest one, she really wants to be a cook. So I'm trying to find like some programs that can kind of help strengthen her. Because I mean, I can cook, but I'm not a chef. So I want her to really learn, the proper way of cooking. And she's learning how to cook healthy. In fact, she cooked dinner for her dad yesterday. That was
Oh,
definitely, yeah, that was definitely touching to watch her do that. And yeah, so.
okay.
Yeah, that's nice. I think it was so powerful. And I know I keep saying this, but it's so real. I'm loving the wisdom that's coming out your mouth. What I got from your message is that parents, you do make sacrifices for your children, and you prioritize, you put them first, but you don't lose yourself. You still need to have a life of your own.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. That's one of the what do you call it? I practice that in my daily life.
Mhm.
Way. Champion parent
Yeah,
way.
it's the champion parent way. Like I practice that in my life. I put my kids first, I make sacrifices, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to have a life, because when they get older, they're going to make choices to have their life as well, So as long as I support them, and provide for them, I'm still going to live my life.
Right. Yes.
That's right. And it is important, Dr. Purr. Thank you again for, pointing that out, that, it's we have to keep our kids first. But we also can't lose ourselves.
Right.
And a lot of times I think parents get that twisted, because it doesn't mean you have to, as Miss April, I love it with prerequisite beauty, honey. You ain't got to look
Yeah.
like what you've been through.
Right. Exactly.
So I love it. Now we were teasing Dr. Pert yesterday because she was in her the sun was out. She was in her
Yeah, you
truck,
just saw that vibe.
her hair, her hair blowing in the wind. We like, okay. So yeah, and you cannot lose yourself. And your kids, they look at you, and I can tell by your kids the way that they are, because when you go live or you share videos, I may not always comment, but I see what you do, and I see how your children are, and they are definitely little Yettas.
My baby.
Yeah. So, what would you say to the inspirational parent or the innovative parent that's trying to do some things, and because you wear many hats, and I have to keep pointing that out. You wear many hats. What would you say to the parent? And listen to how I'm getting my therapy. Listen,
Right.
okay. So what would you say to the parent that wears many hats, but it's hard to focus on one? Like, because I know you had to take one thing at a time,
Right.
and it doesn't seem like it, Kenyetta, because you've come out like boom, 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 boom. Like, dang, she not done yet. Boom, boom, boom. So what would you say to that parent that that needs to learn how to one thing at a time?
Yeah. So I guess one
Is
thing
that
I'll say, I think for me, a lot of people say you're always busy, you're always doing something. I think sometimes it's really like a defense mechanism. Sometimes when we're just busy, and somebody had posted a quote before. They said, you're busy because you don't really want to face what you really have to deal with. And that, when I say that hit me like to my core, and I'm like, so what exactly does that mean to me? Because I think sometimes we can get to just be moving and moving and moving, but I finally got to the point where I said, you know what? Let me just stop moving just to be moving, but let me move with a purpose. And I think when I decided to do that, it's not like a lot of people look like, wow, she's doing all these different businesses. It's actually the same business. It's just like subsidiaries up under one thing. So I kind of started off first with branding myself, making sure that I'm looking presentable, and I took care of my weight and all of that, so that I'm able to help other people. And then then it moves to doing like the motivational Mondays, motivating people on Monday, and just letting them see that I'm not perfect. I made mistakes. So some people's like, well, why are you posting bad food that you ate? Because I don't want people to feel like everything I eat is good. You know what I'm saying? I had those bad days too, just like everybody else. And I think so for women or anyone out there that are innovative and they want to do something, yeah, it's important to focus on that one goal, but then at the same time, you got to be able to kind of like multitask and do certain things so that you can set it up and it's just going to flow once you get to a certain point. Because you never know who's going to come along and be that blessing to move you to the next level. It always happens. If we pay attention to when we move and elevate to the next level, somebody come into your life, you don't even know. Sometimes it's a stranger. They'll come and they'll just say something. They'll speak a word to you, and then things take off. Or you can be thinking about, okay, wow, I'm supposed to be doing something else, and then all of a sudden you look up, somebody put this business card on your car, and then now you realize. So I think we have to pay attention to when God is speaking to us about the next move, because sometimes when we move, when it's on our time, that's when we fail. But when we wait, because it's been time I don't rush through things and it just, a flop. So just kind of be more strategic and just waiting for when God release you to go to the next thing that you need to do. And I think that's what I think is important.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what I got out of what you were saying is people have to act. They have to act.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's very important.
Mhm.
And one of the things that you said too is that they have to multitask.
Yeah.
Sometimes people get stuck on one thing, but no, you have to be able to juggle. And if this doesn't work out, shelf it, move on. I think it's always important to not only have a plan A, B, but have that CD, like keep having those plans and keep revisiting. And I just feel like don't give up. And I feel like don't let one person distract you from your goal, because there's a lot of people out there that's for you, but then there's a lot of people out there that's against you. And I just kind of feel like I've been there where somebody made me feel like, whoa, but because I believed in myself, it was like,
Yes.
Yeah.
you feel me? Like, hey.
Right. And that's important, Dr. Perk, because you said you got to have a plan A to B to C. And I was the type of person, I had A, B, C, D, E, F. And it's hard for me. It was hard for me to switch to go to W, then go back to D. So I had to learn how to, multitask and, not necessarily like, okay, what happened to this? Be okay with, okay, well, let's skip over this part and do this part. So I think that's a part of evolving and just learning how to go with the flow. And like you said, multitask.
Yeah. And don't let nobody take you away from your dream. Like that is just so important. Like just don't let nobody take you away.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think there's some a couple of things to here that I'm hearing in what you do, that you have to find a connection in the things that you do, because the more connected your activities, or the more connected your gifts are, will allow you to address more things. Because it is difficult if you got something over here and they have no relation, because the things that you're good at, you're going to find a connection because that's your gift and that's your calling, so again, kudos.
I was thinking, I said, it's all about really just staying in your lane too. I think a lot of times when we create new businesses, and I think I posted about this the other day, if you haven't started a business, this is all the ladies out there, if you haven't started a business, look at what's already out there, what exists, okay? Look what exists. And then if you're going to create something, don't try to create the exact same thing that one of your homegirls have, or somebody that's close to you. Develop something that can kind of complement their business, because I think what happens is we already have the rest of the world to compete with. So trying to compete against the next sister, it just don't make sense to me, so although there'll be times when we have similarities, what I'm saying, but there's always going to be that niche. So find your niche, and then just kind of, then you can develop partnerships with people, and then that's when the referrals and stuff start happening and things, and then everybody's successful. Everybody's reaching their goals. So I think that's something that we need to kind of do more of.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things I would like to say is it's important to stay true to who you are.
Absolutely.
I just really think that is so important, because, you will find yourself in situations where your core values are being tested. But at the end of the day, you have to make a decision and decide, who are you going to be true to? Are you going to be true to the next person, or are you going to be true to yourself? And I think at the end of the day, when you stay true to yourself and who you are, you feel better.
Absolutely. it's like setting those principles and setting those non-negotiables. What are you not gonna accept? Once you have that, you got when you realize it's happening, then you got to just let go and move on. Instead of sitting there and arguing with people or getting upset, cut
Hey,
it, keep going.
And don't worry if people think you are goofy and corny
Right.
and different. Do you?
Y'all are different. Everybody is different.
Absolutely. We are all different and we can complement each other. Absolutely.
Don't worry if they're saying, Lisa, you're too friendly. You talk to everybody. That's right. I talk to everybody.
Like if y'all ride together and you want to go, you probably should ride by yourself.
Right.
You're like,
Wait a minute, I gotta point this out. I remember there was years ago I was hanging out with some friends and I had gospel music because listen, y'all, I love gospel music.
You know.
We have gospel music and we drinking and we doing this because God should be with you wherever you go. And that's what I used to say. And then I kind of lightened up a little bit. But yeah, again, thank you so much for everything you said. I am. As always, I'm encouraged. I'm motivated. I think I have some power and some juice to make it, through the week and write some goals and stuff down. So what are your final thoughts for your champion parents, your viewers, families, friends, everybody?
I guess in closing, I would say in order to really have a balanced life, you got to really know exactly where you're trying to go. You need to have a plan, so have a plan and work that baby. You got to work it. When I say every single day, you need to do something towards that big goal every single day. Dedicate that time with either the first thing in the morning, which is when I, try to get it in a little bit, or late at night or midday, just get that time in and focus on it. Know when to say, no. A lot of times we're so used to saying yes, especially when we're nice. I'm a nice person. And I got to the point I said, okay, I need to put my foot down, so you got to know when to say no. You got to know when to let go, and then as far as your children, you got to really continue to pay attention because sometimes when we think we're paying attention, we're not really paying attention. We're missing something. And sometimes we take them either having a conversation with their grandmother or them having a conversation with their godmother to kind of bring a different perspective that you weren't even paying attention to. So I think pay attention to your kids. I can't say more than that. There's so many kids are out here that are being neglected. They, a lot of times mothers or fathers are choosing other people over their children. Stop doing that. It's time to stop, focus, and make sure that they have everything they need. And if they don't have it, reach out for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help because there are a lot of resources that are out here that are supporting mothers and single fathers as well to kind of help raise their children. So don't be afraid to ask. And then, and the last but not least, if you are in an abusive relationship, I know it's difficult. I know it's hard, but make sure that you try to figure out how to get out, how to get help, and don't be afraid and stay in your house and not, and not move. And don't wait until the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth time. Leave after the first time.
Miss Kenyetta Campbell, such an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Dr. Park, can I get one last, I need to get one last quick shout out because somebody trying to throw shade. Clint, you talk too much.
What did he say? You talk too much?
Listen, me and Clint talk too much because we be on the phone forever and don't be talking about nothing. Whatever, boy. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to say, Miss Kenyetta Campbell, such an honor to have you on the show. I think that you spoke a lot of wisdom that people can apply to their life. I think it's important that once people see this show, that they sit back and they reflect on their life and think about some things that they can improve in their own life. So, champion parents, let us continue to work and unite to share as many resources as possible. Don't be selfish, good people. Uplift someone today and be the caregiver of what you need.
All right, amen. And the church says amen.
Yes. So check us out at mommytalk.com. That's MOMMI talk.com. Check us out on our social media platforms. That's Mommy Talk Network. As always, continue to love on your children. Thank you so much, champion parents out there, for tuning in. We appreciate your support. And until then, practice social distancing and
Yes.
keep safe.
Thanks, ladies. Take care. Be blessed.
And we're live.